Hi guys, so sorry, okay? I would like to tell you more about these topics of philosophy, but let's start by saying that philosophy is not quite easy. It's, of course, definitely something hard that we can understand fully. So let's say that we have Greek cosmology, string theory. Let's say that this ontology, the further thought, the further exploration. I would like to start with you the chapter 2, reality and being, is what you see, what you get, what you get. Uh, Remembering that the first chapter was about the context for Western philosophy, and you know the philosophy is about the big questions: what is everything really like? Why philosophy? Where is it being? So why philosophy is? This includes ancient civilizations from Taoism, Confucianism, Native Americans, and African philosophy from Egypt, the ancient Egyptians, and Hebrews and monotheism, and some of them have been quite interesting. But let's start now by saying that this philosophy is something important that has to be noticed. It has to be understood because we have some problems, some philosophical problems that tell us how to formulate the questions, the big questions. So let's get started with this question: why philosophy? Okay, now we can understand now that is this all there is? Is this all there is? What do you think about this question? Is there all there is? I mean, that tell us if what we see, what understand is all is the entire world, or do we have another world, or do we have another universe? So whatever you think of a bunch of things that composes your world, is this everything? Is this all there is? It's a big question. So it's kind of interesting how this starts. And it says children, as soon as they learn to speak, begin asking questions about what they see and experience. They seek to know, at least on an intuitive level, that what you see may not necessarily be what you get. What you see is not necessarily what you get. And what you see may not necessarily be what you get. That there may be more to objects and events than what is immediately apparent. So certainly not everything what you see may not be necessarily what you get. Why and how? How does it come? It means that I want many things, but all of them I cannot get. Do they interest do they interest me? No. Are they interested in me or not? Some things that look good taste awful, others that look awful taste good. Haven't you experienced something that tastes good, but or uh, it looks it looks good, but it tastes awful. So exactly, not everything that you see you can get or you get, because we are oriented to perceive, to know, to understand the things we are interested, not the things that we consider awful. So there are prejudices and there are some bias or some tendencies that we need to understand what is our composition, what we are made of for the things we can understand in our world. Otherwise, we don't have everything. We are not living in the whole world. Now it says some things that look good taste awful, others that look awful taste good. To be puppies bark, but there's no sulfur to touch. Grandpa can take out some of his teeth. Bubbles look so solid, but break when you try to grab them. Bubbles look so solid, but when you try to get them, when you try to grab them, they get broken. They break. They get broken. And also, when you see a TV show and there is a puppy barking that is so cute, and you want to touch it, you want to touch it, but you can't. You can you can know what is the texture of touching it until you have the experience of what is fur, and so on. If mustard and the sun are both yellow and hot, a child may draw the logical conclusion that the sun must be made of mustard. This is kind of interesting. How how come as a child to think that to reach the conclusion that the sun is made of mustard? Think back, call back, and try to try to remember you have done this kind of prepositions or this kind of conclusions from one thing that has a color and the other thing has the same color, or one texture that the other texture has, and the other thing has the same texture. So you reach a conclusion that for you is kind of interesting. It's kind of it is certain, but at the time it was not certain. What do you think about it? I would say that when I was a child, I didn't think that the moon was made of cheese. For me, it was just a story. Or the sky was blue because I didn't understand why the sky was blue. Or I didn't understand why the sea was also blue. I have to say, I didn't ask myself those questions. But what could I say? I could say, for example, that my father knows everything. My father is a hero for me because he teaches me everything about the world. But at the same time, I consider him as a man who knows everything. So that's a conclusion that happens because he is the only person that I know. But when I grew up, it seems that my father has some limitations, and that's why I understand that school or some teacher uh, bring us this wide perspective about the world. So let's continue. Parents who explain the distinction between appearance and reality may not realize that they are introducing the subject matter of philosophy. It's interesting. That's a major topic. Appearance and reality. What is appearance? What is reality? What is something that was to be and it is not? Or what is reality? What are the reality of the things? This paragraph says that in our material world everything changes, everything has not the same being, you know, everything has not the same being. You think that the leaf is green but it turns out to be yellow and then it dies. Or you think that your fish will be all the way with you, all the life with you, and all of a sudden, you find it dead. You find it dead. So, what is life? So, what is a tree? Is a tree made of the trunk and the branches and the leaves and the roots? Or when I cut a branch and I plant it in another place, in another ground, do I call it a branch? Do I call it a tree? Why? Why does all the things change? It's quite interesting, this. So we have the major problem of appearance versus reality. Now, as children we begin as first philosophers in any culture do without the benefit of sophisticated scientific explanation. We are philosophers, so we are not philosophers, but we have this tendency to ask ourselves about big questions. That doesn't make us, that means it doesn't make us philosophers, but it makes us human. This is what humans do. This is what humans ask. Certainly we don't have a sophisticated explanation or sophisticated scientific explanation, nor a philosophical explanation. We reach those explanations when we grow up, but not at this time. Starting to make sense of the world, we quickly learn to question surface qualities and look for deeper or more essential levels of meaning. Okay, just like an onion. You start living and experiences the world in their very superficial layer, in its very superficial layer. So what you see is what you think that's real. Okay, you see the plant, your parents told you that the plant is a living being. You don't understand what is a living being, but you say, okay, it feels just like me. So that's it. But you truly don't understand what life is until you go to school, you go to your biology classes, you understand the old system of a plant, what it is so different to me, but at the same time it has a deep relation to my life. And then it's about the cells, even though we have different cells, we have different structures, we can understand what life is throughout this theoretical scientific method. So let's say we start looking deeper and deeper and more essential levels of meaning. Okay, that's all. And that's all. So, see you and bye bye.